What's up, guys? I'm George, and this is Marvelous Statues, the show where we get to unbox and review some of the coolest statues and collectibles known to man. And on today's episode, we are taking a look at the brand new Sideshow Collectibles Ultimate Spider-Man. This is the Miles Morales Spider-Man Premium Format figure, so stay tuned.
No, no, no. ¿Y no sabes que esta es otra?
Spider-Man, 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 hombre araña es Spider-Man, él es el hombre araña.
Guys, here's what's inside the box. Let's get the stuff unwrapped, see what we got. We got a very clear resin, nasty looking slimy tongue. There we go. Looks really nice. Nice sculpt. Looks like we got some tendril. We got a tendril. It's got like a metallic paint, looks like, to it. A nice sheen to it. Really like the color. The color's really nice. All right. Got another tendril. Alright. Looks like they all attach in from the sides. Curious to see how that's all going to fit together. Alright. Another tendril. Got is Venom. So Venom has these kind of like pimple holes almost on him. Same type of coat though on this as it is on the tendrils. It's got kind of like a metallic feel to it, almost purple looking. And then the inside of the mouth is wet. And teeth. It's crazy. And then you got the magnet there where the tongue attaches on the end. It's got kind of like a Tremors kind of feel to him, or you know, maybe like Little Shop of Horrors. All right, but number 160 of 500. Look at that, dope, dope. All right. All right. Like they taped in my portraits. They really put a lot of tape on this, man. The tape going around the box, the plastic, I don't know why that was necessary. I would have actually preferred, you know, maybe some foam, you know, to protect the corners of the box. Although my box came in just fine, so that's no problem. The portrait right there. That looks good. See if I can get a focus on it. All right. And we got the Miles Morales portrait, unmasked portrait. There you go, you guys can see that. Not an overly huge fan of the Miles Morales portrait, but I mean, skin complexion looks pretty good. I just don't like the way the eyes look. All right, get more into that later. What we got here? Another. All right, so then you have the swap out hand holding the mask. All right. And you got another hand. Very nice detail on the body. It's kind of more or less just smooth. All right. There you go. All right, let's get this guy put together. Alright, so there he is, the Miles Morales Spider-Man premium format figure. This is the Ultimate Spider-Man. So I'm digging it. I like a lot about it. There are a few things that I feel are a concern. I will take some pictures of it and I'll get you some up close, high definition shots, and then we will talk about them. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so I've had some time to take some pictures of it, really look it over, get you guys some 4K video so you can see the detail that I'm seeing in this piece. And now I'm back for my review. So just to start up, I like this character a lot. I like Miles Morales. I've been a fan of the character for some time, and that's the reason why I got this piece. But I do feel that this statue has kind of a basic feel to it, without saying anything wrong about it, especially for the cost of the piece. It is smaller than other premium format figures that I've seen, and it's really just because of his position. It's kind of crouched, so some people have been talking about it. This guy stands about 16 and a half inches tall, not even 17 inches tall. And, it's got a width of about 9 to 10 inches maybe. And the same thing deep, about 9 to 10 inches. So it's not a very big piece. It's something that can fit very easily inside of a DTOF or a Besta. What I do like about the character is that he pairs up really well with the other Spider-Man, the Spider-Man premium format figure that came out previously from Sideshow, that's actually still available from Sideshow. So what I like about it is that the other one is kind of higher up, so he kind of looks like he's over this Spider-Man, so they kind of fit together. Another cool thing is that because of the movie, there's all kinds of stuff that you could pair this statue up with. So Sideshow just released an art print, which my brother picked up for me for Christmas, and I thought that thing was fantastic. I really love the dynamic look of that image, so I think that's going to look really good behind this. Also, Nike came out with the Jordans. You could have that paired up next to it if you wanted to. Really dig these sneakers, so I like the design of it. And if you guys want, you can also display it with, say, like the Miles Morales Omnibus that you could take and put with the statue, and I think that would look really good as well too, especially since they do a very good job of making it look really accurate to the comic. So I think that's something that should be commended about this suit. But with the premium format figures and the cost of these statues, I would expect a lot more detail in Spider-Man. All right, so Miles Morales, if you guys don't know, is the ultimate Spider-Man, and he's the first Afro-Hispanic Spider-Man ever. Now, he's not the first Hispanic Spider-Man, as Spider-Man 2099 takes that mantle. He lives, like I said, in an alternate universe where Spider-Man Peter Parker has been murdered, and he has taken up the mantle. So his abilities are slightly different. He has the same things that Spider-Man has, where he has heightened agility and speed and strength, but he also has this ability where he can shock the person that he touches. They call it like Venom Strike or Venom Shock or something like that. And then he also has the ability to camouflage himself and turn himself invisible. So those are the things that are slightly different. His uncle was killed, but his uncle is a criminal, unlike Peter Parker's uncle. And he has both of his parents that are still alive. His father is a cop who doesn't like the idea of Spider-Man being a vigilante. So he tries to hide that from his father while trying to, stop crime. So he's a little bit more relatable to me because of the Hispanic background and because, the family dynamic. So I think that's pretty cool. He recently got his first movie, which in my opinion was the best Spider-Man movie that I've ever seen. I really enjoyed that one a lot. So yeah, I've been a big fan of him for some time. So that's basically who Miles Morales is. So let's get into this piece. I think the base looks amazing. I think they did a really good job with the Venom base, right? He does have an appearance of like that movie Tremors, is what it really reminds me of. It looks like he's crashing up through the ground. The Little Shop of Horrors is something that comes to mind too, because it kind of looks like a plant almost, the way that he's coming up that way, So that's the idea I get of it when I see the sculpt, but I love the paint. I think it has this really nice metallic looking purple hue to it. And unlike any other Venom that I've seen before this one plays with light very well. So I love that. It looks really cool. Has all kinds of, gooey, watery effect to it. So I think that's really neat. Now, there's detail in the texture work on Venom. So there's like these little holes, that looks like almost like, I want to say chips, but like little pimples almost, but they're going inward. So there are these little holes around the statue. So that's something that if you get it, you know that it's there. Also, the seam that connects the tendrils coming off of the lower part of the base, it's extremely noticeable. But because of this whole fluidity that it's got going on here, it's not something that really draws your attention to it. But if you really focus on it, like right here, you can see that there is a seam. So that's something that you should probably, you would know, if you saw it. For those of you guys that bothers. I love the way they did the gum line. So it has this like, this translucence to it. The way the paint looks, like that black area beneath the gums, is underneath this coat of gloss that they have going on. And they did the same thing here in the skin. There's like these little white specks all beneath the skin is how it feels to me anyway. So I like the way that looks. The teeth are extremely sharp. These are also a clear resin, and I think they did that really nicely. And then the inside of the mouth looks very wet and nasty. So I think that did that really nicely. It looks really cool, and the way the tongue comes out and everything. Love the texture work on it. I really like the base. The base really stands out on this piece. The Venom in this one has different looking eyes. It's more stylized to what the comic was like. So it has that look to it, and it has kind of like also a metallic sheen to it, so it plays with the light as well. So overall, I think the base looks fantastic. All right, so moving up into Miles himself, I feel that the statue pose is very dynamic and fun. I really like the way it looks, and that's what drew me to the piece. It's got a very Spider-Man-esque pose, right? It's got an iconic pose for Spider-Man, which I think is dope. What I'm not feeling about it, but it's also good depending on how you look at it, is that it's very smooth sculpt. It doesn't have any kind of texture anywhere in the costume. So, that's something different. Whereas some of the other Spider-Mans that have come out have featured a little bit of texture. This one lacks it completely. And I think it's because they were trying to keep it more comic book accurate. I know there's been a lot of complaints from fans of Sideshow's work that they take liberty with the suits. But me personally, I like when they take a little bit of liberty with it, because you get new things that you probably wouldn't have gotten in the comics. And, I enjoy when Sideshow takes little liberties like that. This one here, there's no texture work throughout the suit at all. The bottom of the feet are very smooth. The whole body is smooth. You know, there's no shading in the suit at all. It's all black. There's not any other kind of color going on in there whatsoever, which is, you know, it's okay. His suit is matte, you know, so that kind of contrasts very nicely with the gloss that's going on in the base, so that's kind of neat. I really like the way the red looks in the outfit, and, you know, I looked over at the colors. There was no bleeding anywhere. They did a nice job with the paint as far as the red goes. It doesn't, you know, bleed off into the black, and the black doesn't bleed into the red. The eyes have a metallic feel to it, so they kind of play with light a little bit. They reflect. Same thing with the red. It has kind of a gloss to it, so it plays nicely with light. That's a nice reflection that you get off of there, whereas the rest of the suit is kind of matted. All right, I like the pose. I like the way the hands look. They got kind of a dynamic feel to it. They're not just like laying there. I like the line work they did in the suit. I've always loved the suit. I think the suit looks really cool in the comics. They did some, you know, work on putting some lines and stitchings in here, but it looks just more like lines in the suit. You don't really feel like, you know, real life stitching going on. The folds look really good throughout the suit. The muscles, you know, the body looks really good. He looks like a young kid in a suit. You know, it doesn't have the more adult Spider-Man appearance to him. So I think that's cool. So overall, I think the sculpt is very good. You know, they did a nice job on that. All right, so this is the exclusive edition. The exclusive edition comes with a swap out portrait, so you get the Miles Morales unmasked portrait, so you can see what he looks like. I think the paint work's done really well. You know, it has nice complexion to the skin. I think they did a good job on that. And, you know, the hair doesn't have a lot of shading in there, but it does have some texture work going on there. And they did a nice job. The eyes look very determined. You know, he's looking forward. So that's kind of cool. What I'm not feeling about this pose is, one, why would Miles Morales be unmasked in a fight with Venom? That doesn't make any sense to me. And, you know, I would understand it if the mask was ripped, but the other exclusive part is that he's holding his mask in the other hand. So that makes no sense to me whatsoever. You know, I think it looks cool, you know, the way the mask is folded like that. It's flowing with him and his movement, but it just doesn't make sense to me at all. I never really dug the exclusive part of this one. I only picked it up. It's because it's the exclusive. It's got a low edition size. It's 500. So, you know, to me, that makes it a little more valuable. So, you know, that's the only reason why I picked that up. But I would not be displaying it like this. So, in my opinion, I think what they should have done if they wanted to make a little bit of an unmasked portrait is they should have done something similar like what they did with the 2099 statue with Pinewood Studios, where the mask was a little bit ripped or it was pulled up and you saw like the lower part of his mouth. Or, you know, they could have done it where they, you know, cut the mask out a little bit so you could see part of his face. And I think that would have been kind of neat and been a little more realistic since he's fighting Venom, right? So that would have been cool. I'm sure this is not a decision that Sideshow could have made. That it probably has to do with the licensee, you know, licensor that's not allowing that. So you can see that, you know, he moves a little bit, but it's not horrible. Kind of sticks there. The regular hand, that really sticks in there really good. You know, it's kind of hard to pull out. If you saw me trying to put it back in, it was a little bit of a struggle. So you don't have to worry about that coming off. The exclusive one fits in a little bit more smoother. And I like the way they cut the seams so it looks like the suit is just going over the gloves, like they're two separate pieces. You know, same thing down here where it mounts into the hand, because the hand's actually part of the base. I like the fold that they did there. So it looks really cool. It looks realistic. All right. So overall, I like the statue. I think they did a great job with the whole overall idea of what the statue is. I do think they could have pushed the envelope a little bit more by adding some texture work. Maybe, you know, some padding here in the lower part of the feet would have made a little sense. Something like that would have given it just a little bit more, especially when we're spending, you know, 500 and change for a statue. So, you know, I think that's my only gripe with the piece. Otherwise, I think it's really cool, and I can't wait to put them back up there and display with Spider-Man. So I think it's going to look good. The two of them, I think, will pair well together. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think on this piece. Did you guys pick it up? You know, what do you think of the Miles Morales statue? The regular edition is still available. That one's only missing the unmasked portrait. And like I said, I think that this is not an EX or fail. You could possibly pick this one up without the Miles Morales unmasked portrait, and it's just fine. It looks really good like this. That's how I'm going to display it anyway. So, you know, that's an option. So yeah, I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit subscribe. Ding that bell to become part of the notification squad. And you will get notified as soon as we come out with another video, because we're coming out with them daily. Now you can catch all of our other videos at mcecentral.com, as well as a wealth of information on collecting, movies, video games, and all kinds of other geek stuff. It's because that's what we like talking about. I'm going to be coming back at you with more statue reviews just like this, so stay tuned for all of that. And until next time, guys, keep it marvelous.